What's up everyone, King Crab's back again today, and it's been a while since I've played Monotype, which is kind of strange considering this is a Monotype channel, so I decided to have some free time and I'm going to record a Monograss showcase. I kind of want to get grass out of the way. It's a really fun type, I actually quite enjoy it, but it's hard to build, and I'd argue even harder to play. It definitely struggles in the current meta. There's a lot of types that kind of give it trouble, like Dragon, Ice, Fire, just to name a few, though it is pretty good against some decent types. Like, it's good against water, it's good against electric, it's actually bad against flying, which is annoying because flying's quite popular on the ladder. But overall, it's definitely a usable type. I don't think there's any type that's unusable, but I'd say it's one of the weaker ones in the current meta, so hopefully that will change. But with that, let's jump right into the team. So first up, we have a physically defensive Ferrothorn. It's going to be my main kind of physical tank on the team. It can wall out so much of like ice types. It can wall out dragons like Garchomp and Dragonite, assuming they're not running any Fire Blast. Or to some extent, it can wall out Firefang, but not terribly well. So we have max defense and almost max HP with leftovers for longevity. Moveset wise, we have Stealth Rock because rocks are really good for the grass type. It beats fire types, beats flying types, bug types, ice types, all of which grass obviously hates dealing with. So the introduction of heavy duty boots definitely hurt the type, I think, more than it helped it. But even still, rocks are super important. Next up, we have Protect, which is really good for scouting choice locked attacks. So, say for example, if they're using a fire attack, we can swap into my Appleton. If they're using maybe an ice attack, I can stay on a Ferrothorn. This is especially necessary against things like Galarian or Manotan, which can easily 6-0 my team if left unchecked. Next up, we have Leech Seed, again for longevity, for getting a bit of chip damage. It's also decent team support, so if I Leech Seed, I can swap into another Pokemon and potentially heal them up. And finally, we have Gyro Ball, because Gyro Ball is just a decently strong stab because Ferrothorn is so slow. It's generally quite strong and hits a lot of things for just good damage without having to invest much into attack at all. So next up we have Rillaboom. Rillaboom is fantastic on this team just for setting up Grassy Surge. Grassy Surge helps the team a lot by boosting my grass stabs across the board, but as well as that, it actually activates my Grassy Glide and gives me passive recovery. So that's pretty nice. We are running max attack Adamant, just to do as much damage as possible with my Grassy Glide. I'm not running any speed. I decided to go for a full HP just to get that longevity with leftovers and Grassy Surge. I'm getting about 12% every turn, which is quite good. So next up we have Swords Dance, which is just, again, good for becoming a very, very potent threat, especially with Grassy Glide being, I think it's like 91 base in terrain and priority before stab. Next up we have Knockoff. Knockoff is great for team support, especially knocking off heavy duty boots, rocky helmets and stuff, which kind of annoy my team. And finally, High Horsepower. Over Earthquake, I don't think this thing gets Earthquake anyway, but Earthquake is weakened by Grassy Surge, so bear that in mind if you are building a grass team. So High Horsepower is pretty good for hitting like Steel types, hitting Fire types. It just hits a decent amount of the trigger because ground is a good physical attack. So next up we have Appleton, and Appleton is my specially defensive Pokemon, forgot EVs and special attack. So he's like my specially defensive counterpart to Ferrothorn. While his special defense is nowhere near as impressive as Ferrothorn's defense, it has really good HP and 423 with access to recover, so it has that great longevity. As well as that, it's part dragon with thick fat, so it's actually taking half damage from fire attacks, which is basically the only Pokemon on my team that doesn't just get eviscerated by fire. Now, moveset wise, we have Leech Seed again for longevity, similar to Ferrothorn. Apple Acid, it guarantees lowers my opponent's special defense, which is really good because I don't have to invest much into special attack. And Apple Acid really puts the pressure on my opponent to swap out, otherwise it's going to be taking a lot more damage. And finally, Dragon Pulse for fighting the dragons in the tier, which give my team trouble. Next up, we have Venusaur, and Venusaur is going to be my sweeper on the team, because the team definitely lacks speed control. I need some form of speedy Pokemon. And while it looks not that fast with only 259, it does have Chlorophyll, so in the sun I will be double speed. And with that double speed I can activate Growth, giving me 2 stages of special attack, which powers up my Weather Ball to be very, very strong fire attack. I think it's 150 base in the sun, thanks to it changing to fire type and getting the damage boost from sun itself. Next up we have Sludge Bomb, which is just good stab to have. It's decently strong, 90 base. It's actually weaker than Weather Ball, unless Weather Ball is resisted or Sludge Bomb is super effective, but it can spread poison, which is pretty good against most of the tier. And finally, we have Earth Power, and Earth Power is for dealing with like fire types again, with steel types and other such types in the tier, especially against like something like Heatran, because it was immune to my Weather Ball and it's immune to my Sludge Bomb, so Earth Power is really good to catch that off guard. Next up we have Whimsicott, and Whimsicott's strange because Grass has no form of instant sun setting. We actually have to rely on Sunny Day, which kind of sucks, but we are running Heat Rock. And the reason I'm running Heat Rock is to give Venusaur as many turns of sweeping as possible. So what Whimsicott can do is set up Sunny Day with its Prankster, so it has +1 priority, and then it can generate Memento into Venusaur. So while my opponent is -2 attack and -2 special attack, chances are good they'd want to swap out, and with that we can click a Growth in the sun and commence a sweep, especially in the late game. Next up we have Encore, and Encore is like necessary for things like Volcarona. If it wants to Quiver Dance in my face, I have to Encore it immediately, otherwise it can basically 6-0 my team. And sometimes that doesn't even work right, so it can be risky. It's also good for Dragon Dance, there's any Pokemon that wants to set up in my face, because it is priority Encore. I would explain Memento, and finally we have Defog to get rid of hazards. I don't want to use it too much because we rely on Stealth Rock a lot on this team. It's just on the off chance I need to Defog. Otherwise something like Spikes or Sticky Web. And we are physically defensive. It doesn't make too much of a difference, but it allows it to live like maybe one bug hit or something, which is pretty good for the team. And finally we have Zarude. Zarude is especially defensive, with max HP and max special defense and 4 defense. So it's quite slow, but it's actually decently bulky with 414 HP and 317 special defense. Finally, we have moveset-wise, we have Bulk Up, which is good to patch up its pretty bad attack and defense. Drain Punch for longevity, also hits steel types in the tier. Darkest Lariat because it's actually just a decently strong stab. Also ignores stat changes like defense, which is super important against like bulky teams like maybe Corviknight or Dubwool who want to try and body press, to Iron Defense in my face. And finally Jungle Healing, which means we can recure quarter of our HP, which is decent. That's about 105, 106-ish HP. And it also cures my status effect, which is really good. So that's going to be the team today. Let's jump in and find some games. We'll be right back. So here we have our first game against Mono Normal, and I'm pretty happy I have something like Darkest Lariat here on Zarude, because any number of these Pokemon could be defense boosters. So I think we're going to open up with maybe Appleton and try Leech Seed turn 1, as they open up with Diggersby, probably wanting to go for a Fire Punch on the Ferrothorn. So I think this is a decent start for me. I am quite worried about Braviary. It does do a lot of damage to my team, especially because it's probably running close combat. We get Leech Seed on the Chansey, that's not too bad. Though I am going to swap into Ferrothorn here, expecting maybe a Toxic to come out. And I get my Rockers up, which is decent because it forces Braviary to defog. They're taking Miltank. What can Miltank do against me? I'll just Seed here. And part of me wants to start Gyro Balling, but I feel I should maybe Leech Seed again on what I think is Beware coming in. Now, unfortunately, between like Beware and Chansey, they do wall my team up pretty hard, and I can't boost in their face with Venusaur because I run the risk of them copying me with Ditto. Perhaps Whimsicott can do good in this game against the likes of Chansey. To Encore it. I mean, you can Gyro Ball me, but you're taking a lot more damage than I'm taking. So since they're probably Choice Scarfed, they'll be slightly weaker Gyro Ball. They'll also take Iron Barbs, and they don't have the recovery I'll have from leftovers. They ended up disconnecting. It's possible they had nothing to break Ferrothorn on their team, though I'm surprised Beware doesn't run something like Close Combat, or even Bravery with Close Combat. Or Diggersby with Fire Punch. I guess I'm okay to win this game through a disconnect, as this is going to be a pretty difficult one for me. I do definitely struggle with a lot of their stronger Pokemon. I guess Knockoff and Rillaboom is super good against their team. It gives me chances Eviolite. I expect Diggersby to maybe be banded. And there's not a whole lot they can do against me. They can knock me back, but I can always go into Ferrothorn if they copy me with Ditto. So I think, yeah, Rillaboom is probably my win condition in this game. So my opponent ends up disconnecting and ends up forfeiting for that, so we'll take that victory and we'll pause till I find another one. We'll be right back. So here we have another game against Mono Poison, which is definitely hard for my team. I think I rely a lot here on high horsepower from Rillaboom and potentially even earth power from Venusaur, so this one is going to be a struggle. I think I want to open up Ferrothorn and get my rockers down immediately, as they go Nidoking, presumably wanting to go for a flamethrower, but they might expect me to go to Appleton and go straight for a Sludge Wave. I value Ferrothorn too much in this game. I'll give them Appleton, as they indeed go for a Fire Blast. Now I think Sludge Wave kills. I'll Apple Acid, because it actually doesn't kill. How surprising. And we get a bit of chip there, I suppose. It's not bad. Unfortunately, it outspeeds my entire team. So I think I have to go into Whimsicott here. I click Sunny Day. I think this game is going to be over very quickly, as they go into Slowking, which unfortunately doesn't give me an option to go into Venusaur because it probably has Future Sight. So I go into Zarude here and try set up in their face. Now unfortunately I am outsped by Nidoking, which really sucks. And this thing walls me out pretty bad, especially if it's Fire Blast or Clear Smog. It's Wisp, that's okay with me. Huh? Oh, Leaf Guard. Nice, I totally forgot. Okay, so Strange Steam is doing a lot of damage to me. They can't confuse me, thankfully. So what I think I have to do is do as much damage as possible here. I can stall them with Jungle Healing, but it's not a great option. Do they Toxic? Or do they Brave Bird? They Brave Bird, I should live. And I get rid of their Crobat. So this thing's definitely faster than me. There's no doubt this is faster. So I get my Rockers up here. On the jab. It gives them a free Nidoking. Actually, they go into Slowking. They probably run Fire Blast. Yes, they do. So unfortunately, Zarude is not much good in this game, because Weezing walls it out. They actually give me a lot of damage here on Slowking, which is super good for me, because it puts me in a position now where I can get my son up at Whimsicott and hope to do my best with the likes of Venusaur. I'll Encore this. They go into Pex, good play. Because I can't swap into Venusaur now. I'll Memento. Get my Venusaur in, click Growth. As they go back into Pex. There's +2 Earthquake, Earth Power kill. I feel like I have to be Life Orb for it to kill. Unfortunately. Whoa! That did a lot more than I expected. So I can potentially get 3 more KOs here. I think Weezing's going to come out, so I'll Weather Ball. They'll double into Weezing here, as they actually double into Nidoking. That's a huge threat to my team gone. I'll take that. I'll Earth Power. Damage off on this is super important, as I actually live just barely. And I'll go straight into Weather Ball here because I want to hit Weezing in case it comes out. As they stay in, but they give me Slow King, which is pretty good for me. Now unfortunately Drop Beyond's definitely an issue. I don't think Rillaboom can realistically live this. I'll High Horsepower. That did so much damage. Unfortunately, I think Weezing just wins the game, because they can Will-O-Wisp me here. That does 0 damage. I guess I have to Swords Dance up and hope to kill them. I'm getting some decent HP back thanks to the grassy terrain, and they're not because they levitate. Oof. I don't think 2 Grassy Glides KO. No, not even close. Yeah, there's nothing I can do, because they levitate, the High Horsepower won't connect. And I've already knocked them off. GG. It was a close game. I actually think I did pretty well there against Mono Poison, but we ended up losing. That's okay, we'll pause to live on the next one. Be right back. So we have another game against Mono Fire, and immediately this is extremely scary for me because they have Volcarona, which is a huge, huge threat to my team. We're going to... A part of me wants to open a Venusaur in case they open Torkoal like an Earth Power straight away. But I don't think it one-hit KOs. I'll open up Appleton, as they do indeed open up with Torkoal. So they can easily yawn me here. This is a... If they Lava Plume as I go into Venusaur, they instantly win the game. But I'll try. They rocked. Nice. So this gives me a free Earth Power, and it should KO. This is not going to KO. Incineroar has like a million special defense. And it opens them to a free Flare Blitz, so I'll try Appleton again. As they knock. That's okay with me. Okay, they taunt. I was going to recover if my seed failed. But honestly, any chip I can get on Incineroar is decent enough for me. They go into Cinderace. And they missed their Pyro Ball, which is really good. Though honestly, I'm still in a pretty bad position. I guess I could go Rillaboom, but I don't think Grassy Glide KOs this percentage, so I have to go Whimsicott and Sunny Day, but that opens me up to losing to Volcarona. Damn. Yeah, I think I've just straight up lost. I have to rely on this Pyro Ball missing. As they Sucker Punch. Interesting. Do I dare go for another growth? No, I'll Earth Power here. I should have growthed again. So this won't be enough to KO Volcarona, I feel. Which I just straight up lose to. So it's not the best grass team. Obviously there's better ones out there. I could build around beating Volcarona, but it's quite fun. So I wanted to show off, you know, kind of what teams are like when they're not running a Volcarona check. I won't say Volcarona counter because that doesn't exist on grass. So if I growthed again there, I'd have 4 turns left of Sun, which I think would have guaranteed KO'd all these Pokemon. And he'd have to take out Torkoal again. I think he still lived with Volcarona and would have won the game anyway. This doesn't KO, does it? +2. If it has HP investment, I think it lives. Oh wow, that's a lot stronger than I gave it credit for. Incineroar comes out, Earth Power again. I just don't think I kill Volcarona. I mean, I Earth Power again. I Earth Power again. I think Weather Ball here's the play, because it's slightly stronger. And it actually KOs. Wow. Venusaur absolutely taking that game. And we're going to pause there until we find another one. I'll be right back. So we have another game against Mono Dark. In this game, Hydreigon is super threatening to my team. Umbreon can be quite annoying too, as it can go a long way to wall me out. Unfortunately, I don't run Moonblast on my Whimsicott. So I think we'll open up Pharaoh and try to get our rocks down turn 1. As they open Zarude. They U-turn out, unfortunately critting me, but they take a bit of chip from my Iron Barb, so it's okay. And Mandibuzz comes in. I mean, I'll just seed this. There's nothing Mandibuzz can do against me. And it does take chip. So they probably want to try get rid of my hazards with Defog. So I'll rock again. Just kind of putting this thing under pressure thanks to my seeds. I'm actually going to go into the route here and try bulk up in their face. If I can bulk up, it's actually really good for me. Because Drain Punch does so much damage to their team then. Did you turn here? They're toxic, that's okay. I can jungle heal this off. The only thing I'm remotely worried about is Urshifu. Will its close combat KO? I think it does if it's banded. I'll simply jungle healing this back off. Their foul play shouldn't do too much damage to me, as I do resist. And once I recover this toxic, it puts them under pressure to have to swap out. And unless it specs on Hydreigon, I think I should live. Sweet bulk up again. I think Drain Punch can do so much work in this game. They probably go for Toxic. I'll heal this up again. They'll have to roost eventually, if they want to survive. Like there. Which gives me another bulk. So I'm okay to do this basically until they're forced to roost and I can Drain Punch them to 2-hit KO after a roost. I think is my play here. So I think this should 2-hit KO with seed damage. 820 attack. Pretty strong. I know Mandibuzz is very bulky though, so I do have to bear that in mind. So they go into Urshifu this turn, and I get to Drain Punch them and KO, which is so good because that was the biggest thing threatening my Zarude. Hydreigon also threatens. Oh, they said GG, so I'm guessing their Hydreigon doesn't have any fire moves, so we're going to pause there to find the next game. Be right back. So we have a game against Mono Electric. My team fares very well against them, except for Zapdos, who is a huge threat to my team, thanks to Heat Wave and Hurricane. It can be very hard to deal with. So I think we open up with Ferrothorn here, as they actually open up Zapdos turn 1. Now I can't afford for this to be Heat Waved, so I'll go into my Appleton. Though if they do run Hurricane, it's quite scary for me. Zero Order comes in. Probably wanting to play rough. I'll go into Ferrothorn. We should easily eat a close combat. And I'll Seed whatever comes out. So this is very possibly Protect. So I'll Protect here to Scout. Or sorry, very possibly Trick, my bad. Okay, they go for Wisp. I don't care about that. I don't care if my Pharaoh's burnt. It doesn't do anything in this game, besides wall them out. I'll Protect here. They are indeed Heat Wave. So if they're Defog, they might not actually be Hurricane, which is really good for my team. So I think I Leech Seed here again. Thanks to Thick Fat, I take 0 damage from that. And now I pressure them with Apple Acid. I think if I can chip Zapdos down, my Venusaur can take it. But I have to worry about Regieleki as well. Coco comes in. I'm certain I live a hit unless this is Specs. They Volt Switch anyway, which is great for me. And they've taken Zapdos. Now it doesn't look like they're Hurricane to me. So I'll Apple Acid again. Yeah, their Heat Wave is doing 0 damage to me. And I'm slowly pressuring them with Apple Acids. That did so much damage. They can burn me. They Pain Split. Good play. But unfortunately they lose their Rotom there. I'm still in a good position where I can recover up in the face of Zapdos. So in comes Coco. I can't afford a Dazzling Gleam, so I go to Pharaoh here. That does 0 damage. Will Seed. As Zapdos comes in. So Seeding there is great because it lets me get an Appleton for free. They Volt Switch out, that's okay. Into Coco. I mean, I can do this all day. In fact, I can always Protect on the Zapdos as well. To have it lose PP and Heat Wave. They roost, which is great for me, as I can Leech Seed here, get a bit of chip. And now if they swap into Coco, they take a lot of damage from Apple Acid. Unfortunately, since they are pressure, I am losing PP fast. But I've confirmed this thing is not Hurricane, which means my Appleton walls it infinitely. Eleki can still be a trouble for me, as Zero Aura comes in. Now I fully expect a close combat to come out here, so I'm going to go into Whimsicott and get my Sunny Day up. As they go into Zapdos. That's okay, I can go back into Appleton. I do take a small bit more damage, so I'll Seed here. If they go into Coco, I think I go into Venusaur this time. Because my sun is up. They go into Regieleki. I cannot afford this to boom in my face, so I'll go into Ferrothorn. If they explode, I probably lose my Appleton. They Thunder Cage. That was decently strong. Not to worry, I can rock here. A part of me wants to click Gyro Ball, but Protect is the better play. I'm losing Sun turns, unfortunately. That Thunder Cage does so much. So they take in Zapdos. That does a lot more damage than I expected. So here I Protect to burn some Heat Wave PP, as they actually roosted me. Good play. But I can always get an Appleton. Every time. Especially because they Volt Switch out into Coco. I'm certain I live Dazzling Gleam. They actually Volt Switch, so it's great for me. So they're slowly taking chip. I don't think there's anything you can do to kill me. I'll recover. That does not much damage at all. I'll click Dragon Pulse here. I don't want to waste PP and Apple Acid because I need it against my Zapdos. At the end of actually forfeiting as was a wall out their team. So let's pause there till they find another one. We'll be right back. So we have a game against Mono Ghost. In this game, Zarude goes in hard, but we have to worry a lot about Blacephalon. So I think they open up with their Corsola. With that in mind, I will open up my Zarude. They can't burn me. They go Drift Bloom. I don't think I can afford to lose Zarude early on in the game, so I'll go into my Rillaboom here. Though I don't think there's much they can do against me. I'm not exactly sure what the Drift Bloom wants to do. The Blacephalon's very scary. I definitely want my Venusaur with Sunny Day up to try and KO that. Otherwise, Appleton might be able to do some work, as it can wall out pretty well. They end up Strength Snapping. Interesting play. I'll Sword Dance in their face. Twice. Into a knock. If they Wisp me, great play. So I feel like knock into Grassy Glide might KO here. Or just knock KOs full stop. So Blacephalon obviously comes out here, so I always go to Appleton. Which easily walls it out, and I'll Leech Seed whoever comes in. I pretty much guarantee live against Corsola, because I can't Wisp me reliably thanks to Zarude's Jungle Healing. And Leaf Guard actually coming in play. I do wish Zarude got a better ability than Leaf Guard. Like, it's just not great. It's relatively bulky, but it doesn't synergize too well with the ability Jungle Healing, which will heal its status effect anyway. So I'm not sure what their play is here. Dragapult is still a huge issue for me. Especially because I do not know its set. I don't think Spectrier is too much of an issue, as long as I have Zarude healthy. As well as that Rillaboom can always Grassy Glide them. Hopefully my opponent doesn't forfeit. That would be an underwhelming way to end the live. They are on a timer though, so it's possible they're just going to leave. So I feel like Darkest Lariat goes in really hard in this game. And as long as I have Appleton healthy to pivot into Blacephalon, I'm not sure what set the Dragapult is, but judging by their team, they're a physical Dragapult. So they go into Corsola. Possibly wanting to get their rocks up. Or maybe Wisp me. I'll go into the route. They missed their Wisp, unfortunately for them. But I mean, it doesn't do anything in the long run. Because I can always jungle healing it back off. I guess they could strength sap me almost infinitely, which is quite annoying. As they end up forfeiting. So that is going to be the live today. Hope you did enjoy. It's probably a bit shorter than usual. I don't want to push my luck with grass. I think we actually did pretty well. We got a lot of victories and some close games, some good games there. So I don't want to push my luck too much, and hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, definitely leave a like and subscribe, share with friends. All that kind of stuff helps me out so much. Like, I really do appreciate it. And of course, definitely, if you want to send me some teams, feel free to do that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me about Monotypes. I'm happy to help in any way I can. So with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.